You're going to keep you and your family safe. How exactly?
These people were last seen within a week or two of each other. And all the missing men were connected.
Which means...
It's a serial killer.
Hi, I'm Richard Armitage. Oh, wait, I don't think that's it.
Hi, I'm Harlan Coben.
Hello, I'm Jimmy Nesbitt.
And I'm Sarah Parish. And today we are chatting all things Stay Close.
With Cosmopolitan UK.
You need to stay away from her.
Do you know Megan?
Do you?
Do you know she's changed her name? She is now Megan Pierce.
Stay Close migrates very much to the west, to the coast, because as Harlan will tell you, it was based on Atlantic City, and Blackpool was a good model, right?
Yeah, it was perfect. Glad had the same sort of nice cheese factor and fun. When we were discussing it, and I didn't know Blackpool, and they were showing me pictures, I was like, "Oh, that really kind of captures exactly what I would want in the British version of Atlantic City."
That life is over.
I'm gonna see you.
Long time since I've been in here.
Take you to Blackpool. I'll take you on the big one.
I was saying the last time I was actually, I usually go to Europe 5, 6, 7 times a year, but I haven't been, the last time I was there was 2 years ago right now. I was with Richard and we were watching The Strangers premiere. So it's, I can't wait to get back.
I just don't want you making the same mistakes.
What mistake?
Yeah, we moved from like a full extreme lockdown. We were tested all the time, and slowly through our shoot, the world was opening up, but our shoot wasn't. We were still in kind of the same, we had to stay in the same restriction. And I think the hardest moment was when the Euro football match, the Euros were happening, and everyone's, the world are in the pub, and we're having to sit in our hotel rooms, like not allowed to go to a pub. And so that was strange. And seeing Blackpool go from complete deserted lockdown to full on kind of riotous partying was like, wow, that is a different kind of feel. But we got through it.
It was really hard. I wasn't over there at all, which was really hard for me to be at that much of a distance from the show and doing everything remotely. And it was, but they did a great job. There were some scenes we actually did reshoot because it looked a little too COVID-y. It was a little too abandoned in areas, and thus we needed a little more energy, a little more life, which Blackpool does give you.
How did you find me? Everybody's findable, darling.
What you think you're looking at is a tennis match with two sides and the pitch here. In actual fact, what it was just one side. There was no other side. So there would be one side and there would be Kush and all her people, and then they'd film that, and there would just be over here a stand with a dot on it for my head. And then all this lot would move and all my lot would come in and I'd come in, and then there'd be a dot on there for Kush's head. So that's the kind of thing that as an audience member you would never see. But for us, there is no other side to the tennis court.
The family? Know what? Who you were in your previous life?
Well, it was interesting because of COVID. There was nowhere to hang out off screen. So actually, the social hub really became the makeup truck in the morning. I grew up with 3 older sisters, and there's quite a lot of women in this show, and it was like a terrifying relaunch back into the world of my childhood, where I'd go into the makeup truck in the morning and it would just be the cackling and shrieking and screaming and of women. And sisters was bad enough. Imagine a truck of actresses chattering. So it really kind of got everyone going in the morning. I mean, I think that was the social hub that people were desperate for, and that's where it happened. So it was the social without the drink. Although often Sarah had a drink in the morning just to get her on set. Just to see me through the day.
Oh, we're having a dance party. No, don't mess it up, Dan. This is going to be amazing.
We were quite lucky. We filmed, I think, first 3 episodes, then 3, then the final 2. Now, often out of sequence. I mean, that's just the nature of work. But I mean, we weren't doing things like, although I suppose sometimes we would film stuff like outside, walking into to continue a scene, and you wouldn't be doing the rest of the scene until a few weeks later, and that can be complicated. But actually, we were quite lucky because a lot of Sarah's and my stuff was done on location, and the location, Sarah's flat was actually in Morecambe, wasn't a studio built somewhere. So we were very lucky that we could film and contain all those scenes there. And that was great, actually. You know, that really makes such a huge difference to be, you know, so when we were in her flat, we were looking out at the sea, we were there, it was real, rather than kind of feeling that you were in the studio.
Did you ever hear from Cassie?
Spent 17 years of my life looking for her.
Because we were in lockdown, I did spend a lot of time with books. So I used a photographer, a famous war photographer called Tim Hetherington, as a base. So I kind of figured out his equipment and, you know, the route into his profession. When we got to set, you know, the props department said, you know, what cameras does he use? And I picked a sort of vintage twin lens camera, which was kind of expensive. But then when they gave it to me to you know, make it look authentic, I loaded it with film and started taking some pictures with it, because it has this kind of crazy mirror, this flip up thing that I know this photographer had used. And I did start to get a little bit into, I mean, I don't think any of the shots were developed, but you do start to get that taste of, oh, I see where the brain of this man goes, because it's so interesting when you take a live, that's not a digital photograph, it's something that's going to be printed on film. And so yeah, there was a little taste of that, but of course it was a glimmer of a moment in flashback, and you know, Danny's like, yeah, put the camera down, move on, just take a picture.
Something's going on. Something's got to give.
You mustn't call me Cassie.
Because there's an awful lot of intertwined stories and an awful lot of things going on at the same time. Sometimes even the writers would kind of get themselves in a little bit of a pickle and go, hang on a minute, what happened in the episode before? And is that going to realign with? So every now and again, you know, we would all get on a chat and go, let's just recap on what happened in the last 2 episodes and what's going to happen going forward. So yeah, we did. We had a lot of chats about scripts and you know, dialogue.
Sarah's being polite there. That's the polite way of saying, quite often we come in the morning going, what the?
Not saying that.
I hope you guys really enjoy Stay Close on Netflix, which is coming December 31st to Netflix.
There you go.
All 8 episodes, we promise.